Alright, what's up guys? So, today we're diving into the Neighbors from Hell subreddit. The title? Neighbor has gone nuts since having our shared property line surveyed, revealing she actually has about 5 less feet than she thought. I find the whole thing hilarious. Sounds like some juicy neighbor drama, let's check it out. My 39F and my husband, 49M, moved into this house in 2018. The neighbor in question technically lives on the cross street to ours, but our driveway is adjacent to her backyard. When we moved in, we were under the impression that the property extended about 3 to 4 feet-ish beyond the edge of our driveway, which was fine. We've used this as a guide for where we mow that strip of lawn. Generally, we would mow 2.5 to 3 mower widths, and it was never an issue. This lady is in her 60s or 70s, I'm not really sure. Like I said, never had a problem at all. I had a few brief conversations with her, and the same with my husband and hers during the first couple years we lived here. Not really even enough to consider them acquaintances, but enough to be civil and give the occasional wave. Her husband passed away in 2020 or 21. I really can't remember. I don't know if it was COVID related or not, but he had health issues beforehand, so I'm not sure. Since then, she has hired a lawn care service to mow, leaf blow, etc. At the time, my husband worked second shift, so we would sleep in a bit most days till 10 or so. Our bedroom is adjacent to our driveway, and the way the room is the only way to put a bed us with the head along that wall. But that wall has 2 huge windows. It's an older house and the windows are pretty thin. We started getting woken up at 7 a.m. weekly to a lawn mower and leaf blower directly outside our window. Finally, my husband checked it out and found the lawn boy driving his riding lawn mower up and down our driveway to access her yard and standing in our driveway to blow leaves. This would literally be less than 10 feet from our heads as we slept. He had enough and went out and got this guy's attention and told him, "Look, this is my driveway, it's not a thoroughfare for her yard because it's convenient." The kid, I dunno, early 20s-ish, apologized. But this lady has had it out for us ever since. About a year later, my teenage was raking leaves to the apron of the yard. BC, our town comes along and sucks them up every year. He was putting them on our side, and she came out and yelled at him saying they were on her lawn. He said he thought our property was from the telephone pole over. She said it wasn't. Whatever. Maybe a month later, I was returning from the store and saw she was trying to pick up sticks in her yard. The way she moves makes it clear she has back issues, like she can't bend, she had to crouch and reach. I asked her from my driveway, "Mrs. So-and-so, do you want some help?" No answer. Maybe she didn't hear me. Louder. "Mrs. So-and-so?" She didn't turn around, just, "N-O," with an attitude. Fine. I went inside and figured she was still salty about the whole lawn boy situation. A few months ago, my husband was hosing out our trash can and dumped the water along the edge of the street on our strip of land. The street has storm gutters. BC, we get a lot of rain. She had a fit about it and came out to yell at him. He told her he isn't some kid she can yell at and leave him alone. Within a week, she hired a guy to survey the land. Cone to find out her land ends on just the opposite side if the telephone pole, which gives her like 5-ish less feet. She's all but heard about it, but whatever. So about a week or so later, it's evening and I'm packing up the car for my husband to go to work as he's on nights now. And I just kind of glance in the direction of her house as I start the car and see her and some guy standing at the window just fucking staring at me. I'm literally doing the same thing I do every night when I pack up the car. I don't know what the deal was. So I come inside and say and tell my husband these people are just standing there being creepy and it's unnerving. He goes out to put something in the car, and this guy comes out of her house and goes off about how we're harassing her and all that. My husband tells this guy back off, I'm just trying to get ready for work. So the police get called and it's a whole dumb thing. Her and this guy get trespassed for our property and my husband gets trespassed for her property. I had stayed inside during the whole police talk, so I didn't get anything. She's, literally, crying to the cop that we have cameras looking into her windows. We have security cameras for the same reasons most people do in case something happens. Like we GAF about what's going on in her place, lol. The officer told her we can have 100 cameras if we want. Last week she had the city survey. They put little flags where the gas line or whatever is, so we assume she's gonna build a fence. Then she cuts down this huge bush in her yard. That's always been there. So again, we're getting excited she's gonna build a fence. Monday morning at 6 a.m. She's standing in her window watching me put our garbage can to the curb. Today her daughter comes and puts up a security camera pointing into our garage area and backyard. which she couldn't even see until they cut the bush down. We're cracking up. It's frickin' hilarious. So of course my husband now intends to get 3 more cameras for that side of the house to freak her out even more. I dunno, maybe we're being petty a-holes. I think it's mostly funny, especially since it all started by us not wanting people in our driveway. Edit, I think I fixed my formatting issue. Edit for info for those mentioning a potential for dementia. I really don't know. I haven't spoken to her in a couple years. However, her daughters, she has 2 I think, are there for several hours every day. Either one or both of them. If there's a concern of dementia and/or delusion, they need to seek some kind of treatment for her. Also, a couple months before her husband passed, she approached me while I was outside doing something to gossip about her new next-door neighbor. This new neighbor's backyard is adjacent to the rest of our driveway. During this conversation, I mentioned the property line because I was under the impression it was a few feet or so, as I mentioned before. Her response was, "We've lived here for years. I don't know where the property line is and I don't really care." Update, she had a fence built. My husband was out clearing leaves off the car in the evening after the construction was finished. This is not unusual. He always clears the leaves off the car while getting ready to leave for work. Well, out she came. I couldn't see her as I was on our back patio, but she was screaming like a fucking lunatic, "Stay away from that fence," and "Get away from that fence." And my personal favorite, "Leave that fence alone, you son of a bitch." We're happy she built a fence, he wasn't touching it. And WTF does she think he's gonna do? Knock the damn thing over? We have zero intention of vandalizing her fence or property. I find it super silly and even unhinged that she put up a fence, which in my mind says, "This is my side and that it yours," but then proceeds to scream at him for being on our side. He didn't even hear her, and when I told him, he didn't say anything back because he didn't want to give her a reason to call the cops or whatever. So that's that for now. We'll see what, if anything, happens next. Okay, so this lady is having a full-on neighborhood feud. Wait, so they were mowing part of her lawn this whole time? Oh, it was the other way around. She thought it was her land. Got it. That's messed up that the lawn guy was using their driveway like that, though. I can see why the husband got annoyed. Trespassed for her property? At least she built the fence, finally. Oh man, I would definitely get more cameras too. This whole thing is pretty hilarious, honestly. I get why they think it's funny. But yelling at him to stay away from the fence? That's just crazy. Let's dive into the comments and hear what others have to say. Put up a fence on what used to be her property. You've seen the tacky little signs that are gnomes or whatever bending over and showing their ass. I would absolutely get some just to put in my yard for her cameras to see. I'll tell you right now that this woman is willing to go to much crazier and extreme lengths than you are. To you guys it's a funny and annoying thing you have to deal with, but to her it's all she's focusing on. She's clearly framed this situation in her head that you're harassing and plotting against her. It's best not to poke the bear because you have no idea how far this crazy idiot will take things. You need to build a fence as tall as you're allowed to, plant privacy hedges/bushes to block her view. Don't install more cameras to egg her on, but do make sure you have cameras covering your property in case she tries things. Buy IR lights and point them at her cameras. This will basically white out her cameras so she can't see anything. If she or anyone else she's with tries to talk to you or engage, pretend she isn't there, ignore the shit out of her. Don't say anything and walk away. Maybe it will convince her eventually that you want nothing to do with her and she might stop wasting time on you guys and focus on the next thing. Get a wind spinner to keep her camera busy plus about 6 fake cameras on that side of the house. She might pop for a privacy fence if you play her right. Let it go. I know it sucks and she's annoying, but it sounds like she's losing her facilities. Don't escalate and don't egg her on. Try to ignore it the best you can. Call Adult Protective Services if her behaviors continue to escalate at a rapid pace. Plant a tree to block her view. She's at the beginning stages of dementia. It's extremely common for the patient to be overly concerned about the neighbors and that they are spying on her. It will only get worse from here on. The funny thing is, you do not even have to set the cameras up to record anything. Adding a camera every foot and pointing them directly at her house towards her windows will drive her absolutely insane. Husband should wear a Speedo when doing garage stuff. Good story, and so well told I didn't even miss what should have been 20 or so paragraph breaks. LOL, all her cameras are going to do is show you and your family minding your own business. Good fences with the posts a few inches inside your property line make good neighbors. She is a paranoid and confused old woman. Build a fence and move on. You can get infrared LED lights that will glitch her cameras. They use them in movie theaters to stop people from bootlegging. They can't be seen by the human eye, but they play havoc with cameras. Purchased a house with shared driveway, and the neighbors would drive over an area we assumed was theirs, mostly to enter their garage, until they pissed me off since they wanted me to move my truck for them to enter the garage. Did a survey done and gave them a copy. Basically, they had to demolish their garage and build a new one with doors going the right way. Oh well, that's all for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.